Hi, I'm Avina,
And I'm Ayo.
and we are going to take you through our poster titled Revisiting the Intentionality Bias in Action Observation. When we talk about intentionality bias, we refer to the process of automatically interpreting people's actions as guided by a purpose. Previous studies suggest that intentionality bias is present when we read about other people's behavior or perceive another person's actions. This may be especially true for ambiguous actions, that is, actions that may also be perceived as accidental, like passing by a vase and breaking it. It has also been shown that high levels of schizotypy traits increase the tendency to perceive an agent's behavior as intentional. We also know that observing actions played in slow motion increases the duration of the action and the perceived intentionality of the agent. In this study, we wanted to replicate previous findings of the intentionality bias and test whether the time that elapsed from the observation of a static action to the movement onset may also affect the perceived intentionality.
We created action stimuli with two actors whose index finger was attached to a device, and we manipulated the time onset of the movement using 6 delays. As instructed, we told participants that on some occasions the device could pull the person's finger down. Their task was to indicate if the action they just saw was intentional or unintentional. In reality, the finger was always pulled. After participants completed their main task, they filled the questionnaire assessing schizotypal traits.
We found that finger posture greatly influenced how participants interpreted the downwards motion of the index finger. This figure shows that there was a greater percentage of intentionality attributed to the actions performed with the bent finger in comparison to the straight finger posture. It also shows that time decreased the perceived intentionality only for the bent finger. In terms of the relation between schizotypal traits and intentionality attribution, we found a negative correlation for the bent finger posture and a positive correlation for the straight finger posture.
The results we obtained do not fully replicate the intentionality bias reported in previous studies. Although we used ambiguous actions by presenting fingers attached to a device, we observed two very distinct patterns of answers depending on the type of posture. This was not predicted by current intentionality bias attribution accounts. Finally, the correlations between intentionality attribution and the schizotypy traits confirm previous findings of hypermentalization under ambiguous circumstances. Overall, the different pattern of responses based on the finger posture and the effect of time delay suggest that inferring others' intentionality is a byproduct of several factors, and this bias, if it exists, may go in both directions. Thank you so much for listening.